I six.
Oh.
I got 10 dirty Trouble movies. And I get
10 dirty. Is that what they came under? Can I have 10?
We met through Rizaria, who got the BBC to cover the world event.
That's right.
I land from Palestine at 8:30, tired and dog-tired and very angry with the Israelis and everything. And she texts me saying, when are you coming? I thought it was some radio station. When I went there, there was the BBC dish. And I really got quite excited. And I said, this Texan with a 10-gallon hat, and the rest is history, isn't it?
It is.
And you kept your word and you called me to the studio.
Always, absolutely.
Okay. I feel like calling you Sir Alan.
No.
Yes.
You've got some sort of honour, haven't you? Is it a...
MB, I think.
I'm the first freeman of Benwell.
The
Does
Freeman
that mean you can put your sheep on? So
I've got a sneaky suspicion if I left sheep in Benwell, they wouldn't be there for very long.
So, Alan, what makes you Alan? What makes you such a strong personality that we all admire and some hate? Thank God for that.
Yeah, well, absolutely. I just speak as I feel, really. I mean, I was raised in the West End, round the corner, where we've always been.
That was home territory.
This mixture of cultures has always been here.
Yes.
And I think it makes you strong because you learn. And the one thing that I've told people all my life is travel as far as you can. Go and see other cultures.
Yes.
See how they work.
Yes.
And a lot of the preconceptions that you have disappear.
Yes.
I'll give you one example.
Go on,
we were doing a ghosty show for the American television network, and we were in New Orleans. Always wanted to go to New Orleans.
But you're a radio guy. What are you doing in New Orleans?
Well, I was doing radio as well, but we were doing TV stuff for the
I know.
And so anyway, they gave me this guy as a driver.
Mm-hmm.
For a tall black guy, deep south, lovely fella. And I got chatting to him, and you discover that some people don't bond. They just sit in the back seat and get driven.
They don't reach out.
So I sat in the front and I'm saying, I've never been here before. Where should I go? What should I do? What's the best kind of food?
Aye.
And they educate you about it. Oh, you've got to try a sloppy Joe. You've got to have this. You've got to have that. But the very, very best thing about it is when you reach out to anybody, if they're a proper human being, they always respond in kind. And this guy said, have you ever been to the Zulu Club? Well, I said, I've never been to New Orleans, so I've never been to the Zulu Club. What is it? Sounded fairly intimidating if you think about it.
Isaac, Zumba.
So that's what I was thinking.
Sacrificial people.
And the guy says, no, you've got to come with me to the Zulu Club. So because of the change in times, Night Owls was on something like 6 o'clock till 10. Just,
for the American time to
the American
Geordie time. Aye.
So, absolutely. So, this guy then picked me up and he was dressed immaculately with a big dicky bow tie and a frilly shirt. Unlike any Zulu I'd ever seen on a television.
You've seen the film, I
just hear people dying a lot in the Zulu movies. But so we go into this club. I'm the only white face there.
Yes.
Nobody knows me from radio in Britain.
You're a nobody there. You're just another white guy.
Nothing, absolutely. And so you go in. Everybody wants to meet you. Everybody does. They fed me. They sang for me. And then they said, where are you doing your radio show from? And we mentioned that it was a little small studio on the outskirts of the city. And they said, can we bring our choir to sing? Now I'm thinking, this studio is probably half the size of the one we're in now. And this is massive. It's, it's a relatively small studio. So I said, yeah, of course you can bring your choir in. 140 people arrived at 2 o'clock in the afternoon. They rehearsed outside, because they couldn't get inside, for 2 hours. They're all dressed
proper.
We're talking about 90 degrees, and they're all in their full suits, and they're padding their head like Louis Armstrong used to in the old movies. And then they opened the doors, and we stuck a couple of microphone stands outside. And absolute glory happened. I'm not a Christian, but it was...
Thank God for that.
Gospel.
I went to a Catholic school, but never mind.
But it was gospel that they were singing.
No, but there's beauty in that singing, isn't there?
Absolute gorgeous.
Isn't it?
Yeah. Gorgeous.
So the ability...
There's a human creation of something, I think that's the thing when you do it without... Was it a cappella?
Yeah.
When
there was a guy with a keyboard and you think, It took longer to set the keyboard up than the 200 guys. And all the guy did on the keyboard was...
one note. Give us a D or whatever it is.
Back here in the church here, some venerable bead, I think it's called. I went and exactly the same. There were black people from Nigeria doing this heavily Christian stuff. And they're all staring at me saying, what is he, this little Indian, not black enough guy doing that? And they gave us food for the destitute in this part of the world.
Oh, bless.
So I, like you, I just like going like a terrorist in a way. Different from everyone. Just go in and see what happens. I've done music in Heaton Mosque.
Yeah.
There's behind you Zafar Bhatti. He's invited 3 white people to go and play table tennis in the Heaton Mosque. They've never been in a mosque. I like that penetration, you know. And I'm not,
I agree.
I'm not talking about sex here. Like,
No, I understand. But you're quite right. And what you should do, surprise, I think.
yes,
Is the
shock the
wonderful
buggers.
thing. It was like those guys from the EDL
Yeah.
who went chucking bricks at a mosque.
Oh.
Then they ended up bringing tea out for them.
Yes.
And it's hard to chuck bricks at people who are giving you tea.
Yes.
And then they ended up having a chat and a game of football together.
Yeah,
and you think,
exactly.
well, that's what it should be about.
You know, when it's football or food or something we can't mention on LXX, we can't mention it, or music, where does religion go? It disappears. Then there's a difference because you still have only 7 or 8 notes on the keyboard all over the world, you know.
Well, the thing that I've noticed, though, is that a lot of people from, because you go to Dubai and they'll lash you and they'll whip you if you mention gambling and stuff, and yet you come over here to, and I don't go to casinos and stuff, but I visited one to do a guest appearance, and it was full of people from that part of the world.
Yeah,
And
yeah,
think,
yeah,
whoa, hang on, there's an ounce of hypocrisy
Yeah.
creeping in there. Isn't
But how much energy it takes to keep up a hypocrisy? Do you know schizophrenia, that illness? Say you're my father and your brother and all. I play a game, I'm ill.
how old do I look? Yeah.
We look like my daddy. How old are you? I'm 68. You're 50 something, aren't you?
9.
59.
Yeah.
Okay, still a long way to go, pet. You're just a spring chicken.
9 hours for another 40
Yeah.
years.
So as a
Give me another 10, I'll be happy.
So as a schizophrenic, I'm playing the game, I'm ill.
Yeah.
You know I'm playing a game. I know you know I'm playing a game. You know, I know, you know, and this goes on. It's like 2 mirrors. It's a joke. Schizophrenia doesn't exist. And there's so much hypocrisy in medicine. You know, 70% of all patients get better on any drug. It's just a joke, you know. I mean, I believe in the placebo effect.
Absolutely.
And if religion or your culture keeps you stable, it's okay, but reach out, is what we are both saying.
No, we had my dad, one of the proudest things he ever did, there was a doctor, and I think his family have something to do with the clinic on the West Road, the Kumars.
Oh, yeah, Dr. Kumar.
Dr. Kumar. Dr. Kumar was my doctor, the father, and he was just in I think Clara Street, or one of the little streets down in Benwell. And you walked in, you saw him, you didn't need any medicine after you'd seen him because you knew you were going to be all right.
Yes.
Because Dr. Kumar had seen
So
you.
the magic of that doctor.
It's just the reassurance that somebody's seen you and he hasn't rushed, he hasn't called an ambulance.
He knew me since I was born.
Yeah.
He wouldn't tell me a lie. And he says, I'm going to be fine. I'm going to be fine.
Yes,
And I was
because you
fine.
believe, you become what you believe. Whether it comes through religion or your self-indoctrination, because I'm totally into NLP and so on. Which brings me to this interesting topic. How did you become a spiritualist? Spiritual, I understand, but spiritualist, you actually believe in ghosts.
I do.
And
only because I've seen her. You see?
tell us about that. That's a very odd side of you. You're a
them
nice,
first.
regular Geordie guy. How the hell do you see ghosts, man?
Right. Never believed in them at all. Used to go on air slagging people off who had and saying,
Don't be stupid.
you've obviously just watched a ghost film the night
And you've drunk
before.
too much or
You've
taken
had a
drugs.
drink. I'm all of that. And then I'm a pagan historian. I'm very, very interested in history, world history, but pagan history. The one that is Christian history tends to be what you're taught in this country.
Yeah, it's
And
pre-book.
It's very biased on one side because to pagans, Christians are like Nazis.
Yes. They
For obvious reasons.
forced their religion.
They
on
wiped them out, pretty hard to try to. And so I was asked, I'd done some work on the film Braveheart, telling them what kind of costumes people wore. And if you see what they're wearing on the hill before they lift the kilt, that's all my...
So you started this wearing nothing underneath. They used to do that.
So anyway, they took me across to Ireland, to the TV people, to do another TV show. And they said that they wanted to find out what the pagan history of that land was, so that if they wanted to use little bits of it, they could. There were 13 of us around a circular table in a castle called Charleville Castle, which is in County Tullamore, right in it's the absolute epicenter of Ireland.
Okay.
If you had to put a pin in it, it's right there. And I'm chatting, I'm saying, well, this happened here, and the English king did that there, and da-di-da-di-da-di-da. And then eventually, all of a sudden, out of the corner of my eye, I saw something happening outside. Now we're 3 floors up. Something happening outside a window 3 floors up will attract your attention.
Yeah.
You think,
I mean, it's not the window cleaner, like.
it's a giraffe at least to get. It's going to be
There's a lot
something.
of giraffes in Ireland.
Yes.
So this thing came through the window and through the center of the table. Now remember, there's 13 of us, and some of them were American, some of them were Irish, some of them were English, but we're right around this table. And I said, "Don't anybody say what you can see right now.
Yes.
When it's gone, write it down."
Yes. Okay.
So
So, we're not colluding.
It passed through. It passed through the
Wow.
the door.
Oh my God.
Went through a door. Didn't open it.
Did it
Went
have a
through.
human face?
It looked. It was grey. It was an amalgam of colour.
Did it have a
You
white
could
sheet?
see things like a little white collar. You could see that it was man-shaped and moving.
Could you see through the creature?
You could kind of.
So it
but
was translucent.
translucent, but solid enough for you to make out collars to
Yeah,
make
yeah,
out
yeah, yeah,
edges of a jacket. So I don't know how you have ghost cloth. You see that I can understand spirit, ghost cloths, but ghost shoes. How does that work? I don't know. But
Okay. But you
all of a
saw
sudden
and
I
felt
saw it, and everybody wrote down
exactly the same thing.
exactly the same thing. So you think, well, what was it? Well, you put it in that place where, well, I don't really want to go onto the radio and admit that I've seen this, because for 10 years I've been slanging. I've been slanging on these people.
It's like me joining the EDL or something like
But
that.
it wouldn't happen, would it? So you jump on the other team all of a sudden.
Yes.
No. So then eventually, because I'd seen that, my mind was open to see other things.
yes,
so I
yes.
started to notice little things here and there, because once you've tasted a cherry,
blood,
you
you
will
can't
always
drink milk.
remember what a cherry
But,
tastes
yes,
like.
yes,
so
yes.
you're constantly looking
yes.
for other things. So I was seeing other things, and you go, oh my goodness. So then you've got to go in and say, you know, for years I've said that you guys are all idiots. I'm the idiot. I wasn't open to
Yes,
the belief
yes,
that
yes,
I was.
yes.
So in the middle of all the serious stuff and all of the hard beliefs that I have about life in general that I've gathered over the years, all of a sudden I had to add this other thing. And since then, it's kind of like a roller coaster ride. You might be very frightened if you see something that you can't explain. But as soon as it goes, you want to see it.
Yeah.
You wanna see it.
You get addicted to it. I mean, somebody said in the 21st century, a wise person isn't somebody who's learned, it's somebody who learns, unlearns, learns, unlearns.
Keeps learning.
Otherwise, why would I look so good at 68? Seriously, then, I've had out-of-body experience. You know, Akbar, the famous, the only decent Mughal king. I'm at Fatehpur Sikri, where his Hindu wife conceived. You know, he didn't have sex with her there, but then he was there. And there was this very poor Muslim fellow playing the harmonium, that little instrument he was playing. And suddenly, wham, I was above. I was in Akbar's court. I've said this so many times. And I could see them working. And then I came back. Another time, I was sitting at home playing the tanpura, and you know that instrument. And suddenly in my mind, I'm speaking in English. And I'm saying, I'm playing a tanpura, an Indian instrument. Why am I speaking in English? Half an hour later, somebody woke me up. It was my guru saying, what are you doing? I said, nothing. He said, for half an hour, you've been just going and saying nothing. I said, no, I've been singing in English. So, you know, these kind of states happen. It's called hypnagogic state. And you very correctly say the eyes can't see what the mind doesn't know. There's so much happens. I mean, the Pakistani cricketer, Zafar would know, 3 days ago was in Indonesia or Australia, and in his room, he had a ghost. And he ran out of the room. It was in the news, you know. So people refuse to accept this.
And
And
other people have been in that place and seen the same thing. Do you know? So it's
We went there because, they went there to film whatever had happened.
Yes.
And there's some strange things. And I'm going to tell you the worst, because this is the worst. You're a radio guy. You know what good radio is. You know what bad radio
Well, this is bad radio, but carry on.
You know the difference.
Yeah, yeah.
You can tell the difference. And I was there in this castle, and we recorded the television thing, which was essentially putting an American family in there to experience it. Then afterwards, the castle was mine, and I did a live show
Okay.
from the castle on Night Owls for our lot.
Yeah.
And they had tried to Christianize the building
Okay.
by sticking a chapel on the side of it.
Okay, Christianize. Okay.
Because
sanitize it.
It was owned by Freemasons who used to, anybody that, in Ireland, if anybody knocks on your door, you give them food.
Yes.
And you let them sleep in your barn.
Yeah.
It's tradition in
Okay,
Ireland.
okay.
These English Freemasons came, and every time a guy knocked on the door for some food, they guided them to the cellar and fed them to their hunting dogs. And the hunting dogs had all of these bodies.
And then they said the gentlemen are fed to the
Absolutely,
dogs.
absolutely. The other way around. So they stuck this, after they had gone,
Yes.
the family that moved in stuck this chapel on the side, and the chapel was 3 stories, had a basement,
Oh my God.
ground floor,
Right.
upper,
Right.
and it sank exactly 1 floor to the inch.
As if like a lift has gone
It just sank into the
exactly precisely.
and so then they had to cement off the door at the top and say, okay, now the upstairs is the downstairs,
Yes.
and we've got 2 cellars.
okay,
'Cause
yeah.
you go down 2 floors.
Yes.
Where mezzanine came from.
But on the bottom floor, the windows had soil,
Mud outside.
which
Yes.
is like not good.
Yeah.
I went down to the very bottom floor, and I felt like I was being choked to death by. and I
Really?
don't know what it
That
was.
feeling?
It wasn't hands. It was what I was breathing in.
The air was so
Noxious.
thick.
Horrible, terrifying. I ran outside, and I was sick for 12 minutes
Really.
on air. That's not great radio. Not great radio.
No, but
It'd be good it wasn't television, though. That would be even worse. I think.
Oh my goodness!
no, but as you can see, that is great radio, isn't it?
Absolutely. Right. No, what we said that it was a hard thing to pour a bucket of water on your head. I'm thinking,
I'll put it on my ghoulies.
I don't think so. I'll put it everywhere else. Absolutely. I did wear a mask so I wouldn't be identified.
Oh yes.
So what made you trip into this becoming yourself instead of being just a regular boring guy from Benwell tending sheep and getting unemployed and just doing the regular normal Benwell stuff? How did you become so different?
I wanted to be a singer, start to start.
You
with.
have sung somewhere.
I did a bit of singing around here. It's working men's clubs, blame me.
Oh, you did?
You know whether you're any good or not.
yes.
And I wasn't any
I
good.
used to go there.
I was just a little kid. So that what would happen is I would go and I would sing badly, and somebody would go, "Oh, fuck,
Get a bingo one. Get a bingo one.
just move over." And then, because being Northerners, that leave the lad alone.
Aye.
Just try it. It's only little.
Yeah.
Come on.
No Simon Cowell here.
No. See, when I got a bit older, I didn't have an excuse, and I was chucked out the building quicker than I
Did
could
you do
move
call
in.
you please? They used to call it that, didn't they?
They did a bit. We did a bit of that.
£6 if you won or something.
If we didn't have any money, our entire band would go, with drums and everything, so we'd go as you please, and we were pros.
Yes.
And so you'd have all of these guys, and nearly every time we didn't win. It was always because the people on the Go As You Please are all the people from that club.
Yes.
So if you're a stranger, the stranger will be third.
Yes.
But your local guys are going to be
Obviously,
first
obviously,
and second.
obviously.
So you're going back hoping to win £3.50 or £6 or the meat raffle. At least give us the meat. But no.
Give us summit. Summit to go home with. Maybe spam, luncheon
anything.
meat.
Doesn't
Anything.
matter. But the butchers used to put up.
Oh yes.
They would stick some meat in a box, and that would be a
Health and safety.
Have you ever been chased with a cleaver
yes.
and a shotgun?
Shotgun. I don't know. I've been chased by the IRA, and they have all of that
For saying
kind of
what?
stuff.
For doing what? Being anti-Christian, anti-Catholic, anti-Protestant, anti.
No, I was anti-IRA. Really.
Okay,
That's
okay.
what I went on air. Enniskillen had just happened, which was the Remembrance Day bombing, where lots of innocent people had been killed. And I went on air and I just ripped them one.
Yes.
Quite rightly, saying what kind of... and they're also talking about being religious, where the Pope's already been over and told them to put their weapons down, and they're not. So it's not about religion.
No.
This is a group of people who are thugs and criminals. They're robbing banks, claiming it's for the cause, when they're just going out with...
Because they love killing and
killing and getting the money and being the
in the name of
they were
religion.
just a bunch of gangsters, essentially.
Yeah.
So I called it as it was, and some guy came on trying to stick up for them. So I ripped him
on air.
and this went on. Every now and then somebody who was a supportive of their cause would say, "But how would you feel if soldiers stopped you in your foreign soldiers?" I says, I get all of that. I want people to be happy and to play nice. That's all I want. And you don't do that by blowing up children.
Yes, yes.
You don't get that by blowing up nurses and people in a public setting. They're civilians. We're not talking about killing soldiers here or anything. They're just murderers.
Innocent people. I mean, Gandhi said, I rarely quote him, but never mind. Today I will. He says, an eye for an eye leaves two blind people.
Absolutely. And he was absolutely right. So anyway, then there's a phone call to the girl through the desk, and they said something like Claymore, which I didn't understand what it meant. But apparently the IRA had an agreement with the police that if they were going to do anything genuinely, they would give a word that could be checked to make sure that it was really. And today's word was Claymore.
Like a password.
Yeah, this means where it's really the IRA. So they said to my girl, we're going to blow his kneecaps off in 10 days' time.
Wow.
We know where he's going to be. We're not putting up with him attacking us like this, so we're going to attack him. 10 days. And then the following day, from another phone box somewhere else in Newcastle, the word of the day, 9 days, then 8 days, then 7 days, and 6
It
days.
sounds like Christmas,
5 days.
Da, da,
Well,
da, da.
I wasn't quite looking forward to it in the
And that was
same
here.
way.
It wasn't in Ireland. It was here.
It was here.
All right.
Oh, right. Sorry, I didn't understand. I thought this island you're talking about.
No, I was here. I was on air in Metro when it used to be in
In next to
Waldo, yeah.
Hewwood.
That's right.
Next to Hewwood Place, yes.
That's right. So anyway, it's getting close to the day, and the police came round in a special branch and what have you, and said, "Where are you going to be on that day?" So I say, "Well, I'm going to be in the morning. I'm opening some cash and carry somewhere. In the afternoon,
I'm at school with 5,000 kids.
I've got to know it's that kind of thing." In the afternoon, I was doing a live outdoor gig at Whitley Bay where there was about 8,000 to 10,000 people. And then I'm going on air. It was Saturday night at the time. So anybody who's listened to the show would know exactly where I was going to be for the whole day.
Yes.
Didn't see anybody police-like at the first gig. I'm thinking they'll be in plain clothes.
They'll be all right. They'll look after me.
They'll be around. They'll have
Yeah.
a gun in their pocket.
A bit like Prince Charles
They'll
puts his hand.
absolutely. They'd leap in front of anybody if they were going to try.
Yeah.
So then you go to the second gig where I'm dancing around with singers and dancers and messing around with the crowd. Didn't see any police there either, but they'll be there. They'll have the gun in the pocket. They'll leap in front of me if there's any.
Yes.
So then I'd go to the radio station, do my show, nothing happens. Now, they'd called in at 10 o'clock like they had all week, saying, it's tonight. So I'd give the correct
The new password, yeah.
2 o'clock in the morning, I'm thinking, where's my police escort? I look out the window, and without a word of a lie, one of those little tiny panda cars drives into the car park, goes around the central reservation, and drives out again.
That's it.
They haven't even seen me. And they've disappeared. So I think, well, it's technically after the day now, because it's 2 o'clock.
Yeah.
We're in the morning, so
I'm in
we're
the clear.
technically,
I'm in the clear.
you know,
I'm in the clear now.
Yeah,
I can breathe.
The IRA wouldn't think
Nah, they wouldn't.
to give me the wrong day.
No,
That's
no.
just not fair. So anyway, I get in the car, I start driving home, and I notice there's a car behind me, and I'm thinking, police, good lads, excellent.
Oh my
Then
God.
we get to a lit bit, and there's two cars, and they're old cars, and they're not remotely the same, and the people in them look like hooligans. And you're thinking,
It's not
swear word, they could be the IRA, these people. So then all of a sudden, I don't want to go home
Yeah.
for obvious reasons. I drove at extreme speed. I was a blur till I got to Cramlington
You
Police
didn't
Station.
have a mobile phone with you or anything like that?
Not at that time, because this was just on the verge of them arriving. This
Okay,
was
okay.
about 15 odd years ago. I arrive at Cramlington Police Station, and you run in and explain the situation
This is what.
to a sleepy desk sergeant who hasn't seen action.
Hello.
Years.
Yes.
He's never heard an IRA password.
And my explanation, but because they're behind me, literally, they're there, and they parked outside the police station. They're waiting outside the police station, and I'm going. You know, so you're doing all this. Calm down, son. This big, slow sergeant walks to the door, and from two car open windows. Well, we warned you we would be after you. Remember, next time that you said anything about the IRA, we're here to intimidate. Then I got a Christmas card.
No, but what about the policeman?
The policeman just took the registration, then discovered, surprise, surprise, the
A
cars
stolen
were
car.
stolen. Well, of course. And there was no police to chase them because he was the only one in the building.
You're not implying that the police have to fail an IQ test before they join.
They have helped me many times with
Yes.
suicides and what have you over the years.
Yes.
That day they kind of let me down just
Okay.
a tad. So it says you can stay there. So I stayed there till dawn
In the police station.
in the police station just to make sure that there was no way they were going to follow me home or they were waiting around the corner or whatever. And got back. 3 days later, I get a Christmas card from the IRA in Gaelic that I had to have translated at the university. And it said, there's always two sides to every situation. Attack us, we attack you. And for about a month, I kind of kept quiet about stuff. And then they did something else, and you just got to...
No, but listen, when they say if you attack us, we'll attack you, you are verbally
Well, I was going to say,
attacking them.
it's sticks and stones, isn't it?
Yeah.
It's,
There's a difference between breaking me legs and
And
shooting me
then-
kneecaps to me having a pop at them on the wireless. I can see a difference there.
Yes.
But they apparently couldn't.
Okay. There's something very interesting I want to propose to you. I'm not going to marry you, but
Thank heaven. Done enough of that.
yes, have you? I've had 2.
4. I'm working towards the 5th as we speak. So there you go.
I'm on to my 3rd.
There you go. You're not trying hard enough.
No, I'm
You'll
okay.
never catch me now.
I'm worried. What I want to propose to you is there's some kind of twinning we should do between Spice and yourself.
Happy with it.
Because, Spice is doing exactly what you're doing at a smaller scale. And we are really poor. I've just got 4 headphones by someone's charity.
Right.
But there's nowhere to plug them because the technology has gone bad. And, we got carpets, red carpets on the top for soundproofing.
Right.
And this is a lovely station, exactly what you are doing for UK, we are doing for Newcastle. We got, I do 5 shows, and there are Yawar and Sanam and Sunila, and they all do all kinds of shows. And they're quite challenging to people. They don't do just Muslim shows or Sikh shows. We mix with each other. Tomorrow, Yawar will be on. He's doing a proper Islamic show. I'll come in, he'll crack a joke in Punjabi, not in Arabic. And he'll say, what do you think of what's happened in Gateshead? I think it's dreadful. It's atrocious that in our part of the world, 3 guys who claim to be Muslims are attacking. Yeah, and just doing the road, It doesn't happen in Northeast. We have friendly people from the time you've been working. And I've been hearing you from, 1983 when I became a GP.
Right.
In Gosforth.
I was a bit earlier than that. I started, but just doing odd shows here and there for about 5 or 6 years.
when did you do the football announcing? That was when I probably first.
I
came
did.
across-
I did
the
the
70s?
entertainers years, which
that was all later on.
to be honest-
well, you went a lot before that, though.
I started before that, but I was there during. It was Keegan and Hall who brought me in
All right.
because I've known Kevin for years. We lit the Tyne Bridge together by helicopter,
Wow.
which was quite something. Yeah.
How did your parents bring you up that you get such wacky ideas without self-editing? Most people have the same ideas you. I said, no, we can't do it. But you said, just go and do it.
Yeah, let's do it. I've just come back not so long ago from 3 days in Tibet, looking for the Yeti.
Looking for the Shangri-La.
And why not?
Did you find footsteps?
I didn't find footsteps, but I did find animal carcasses ripped to pieces. But then you think, is it a bear, is it a wolf?
Happy IOA.
Yes.
You know, I don't even think they've got the money to do that anymore.
What do you think of the crop circles then?
Crop circles, I think most of them are fake. I think
How do you do
the
it?
wind and nature is an absolutely amazing thing. And I've watched a crop circle in America form itself with a
Helicopter.
the whirlwind. You know, the
Okay,
tornado.
what
Little mini.
do they call them?
tornadoes.
Tornadoes, yes.
Little mini tornado, and
Okay.
it created a pattern on this. And you think, how did that happen?
You don't hear of cop circles now. It used to
No,
be
no,
years
they-
ago.
Not so
It'd be every other week. They'd be on the street.
What do you
know,
make of-
Harry the gardener
Is it
with
got
2
bored?
pieces of wood on his feet,
Yeah.
walking around the
But it's like bird flu and this and that. They have their day and they go
moments, yes,
away. They
right,
have the
yes.
moment to go. What do you make of flying saucers? Since you've been to America so much.
I never believed in flying saucers until I was told to do a program by one of my staff who'd lost a child, miscarriage, and we got her a star to name a child. You know how you can name a star?
Yeah.
We bought her one of these things, and she said, "I want to know where is this star? I want to find out exactly." Well, of course you do that. But that's not going to placate a woman. So we took her to an observatory, and this guy in the observatory said, "Well, it's about time. I've caught 15 of these things over the last few months. How come the observatory in Burma, the military one, how come it's not catching anything? So this guy then shows me these anomalies on screen. Things traveling at like immense speed. So I was like, not really convinced. However, I then did a show called Alien Jesus, where we looked at, is there any proof on Earth of alien intervention hundreds of thousands of years ago? And then I went to Peru and I flew over the Nazca lines. And if there's anything going to convince you that, because these things were done, we believe 13, 14, 1500s by essentially peasants working on the top of a mountain to dig down 8 or 9 inches into stone. Now, just imagine 8 or 9 inches, and then you're going to do a drawing that's 8 kilometers long.
Yes, in a straight line.
And 8
everything.
kilometers wide, and it's going to look like the thing that you say it is, but you can't see it from the ground. You can only
See it
see
when you're
what
at
it
a height.
is
So how?
from the air.
How?
Why?
Yeah. Yes.
Well, if you're a farmer, you farm, and you spend all your time making food for your family, you know, the world over. Why scratch into that? And you look and you see there's a spider monkey with a big long tail. If you have a look at just
From a
type in
distance.
Nazca lines.
Isn't it a bit like the horse in South Shields on the side
Oh
of
no,
her?
they're not like.
No, I'm just joking. I mean, it's
But
a
bigger.
smaller version.
But I mean, it's
Massive.
10 times the size each one, and there's about 18
Wow.
of these things. But the last one, and because the guy in the plane obviously had taken people up there to see them regularly, and he does them in a certain order, and you go, oh, it's a monkey, it's amazing. Oh, it's a scorpion. That's
And so
fantastic.
clearly that.
It's a lizard. Well, you can't
miss it. You have
can't
to-
miss them. Poof, there, they're there. And then right the very last one. Now remember, these things were done, we think, 13, 14, 1500s. The last one is a spaceman.
Oh.
Now, it's got a helmet on with a face piece.
Visor and all that.
It's got boots, like space
boots, yes.
It's got gloves, like space gloves. Nothing at that time looked like that.
Yes, yes. You didn't have television. You didn't watch
So-
NASA and all
no,
that.
of course not. It's yeah. And you see, then you look at that, and then if you have a look at medieval paintings that were made in Europe or Britain at that time, go check this out. In the corner of the sky, in nearly 9 out of 10 of those paintings, there's a spaceship.
Really?
Now, this
Why
was,
should they think of a spaceship?
Why would they put anything in the sky?
There wasn't even
They
an
had nothing that could-
aeroplane didn't happen
They
yet.
had nothing that could fly. They didn't even have balloons. And yet there's a little metal thing here. And then you say, well, hang on. If we have been intervented, so to speak, does that explain our colour? Because if you think about it, if you're in India and you're living in 90-degree heat,
You would look like me.
you look, well, like you or like Indians, essentially. People in America lived in 90 degrees, but they're red.
Yes.
People in China lived in 90 degrees and they're yellow. So why are we different colours? Simple question. And there's no real answer. Because if you're pasty and you live in pasty conditions, you should all look freckly like me. But they don't, because then you've got the Inuits. They're a different colour altogether. Different species, different face types. So have we interbred thousands of years ago? Now, if that's the case, we are all genuinely brothers and sisters.
But they say everyone comes from Lake Tanganyika about 100,000 years ago. That's where all humans were formed. All of us are Africans, really.
Well, you say that, but you see, then you've got to say, well, where the Aborigines come from? And you say, because 90 degrees again. They don't look like you. They don't look like
No.
You know, so you can keep looking at these things. When I was in Peru, in one of the museums there's a stone block, half the size of one of your walls, with an Aztec-looking kind of guy in a machine with buttons and knobs
Wow.
and wheels and
That
all
looks
the
like
things.
looks like Zafar Bhatti in his bus.
All the things that you would see in a high-tech,
Yes. Environment where it's all
21st
spacey,
century.
electronic-y kind of place. Yes.
but there's no. They didn't have any electronics back
Then.
then. And you're talking Aztecs. Where did the Aztecs go?
Yes.
A lot of people say, well, the Spanish wiped them out.
Yes.
A lot of other people say they just went back from where they came from. Now, who knows?
Who knows?
I love the fact that, just for the sake of of racists, really.
Yes.
That we're all interbred with people from a different planet. If they get peed off at the thought that we might, have a girlfriend who's Pakistani.
Oh my God! No.
Imagine if they're from Uranus, though.
I've brought this notion to him,
My
Daddy. Can I
girlfriend's
marry
from
her?
Venus. What are you going to do about that?
It was from the good ship Venus.
I would leave that one well alone.
So we all connected and we all brotherly. Why do we fight? Why are humans so killing machines?
Ignorant. It's a thing of immense ignorance. I remember once, group of kids that I was with in the West End. We decided we couldn't go to Scotswood because their gang was bigger than our gang, and we would get completely destroyed.
Yeah.
So we decided we were going to go the other way towards the Big Lamp.
Yes, I know the big lamp.
Big Lamp, and the end of Elsick, just before you go into town.
Yes.
And there was a group of kids there who were, I didn't know what country they came from. They were dark-skinned. I presumed they were Indian or Pakistani or Bangladesh, whatever. And we had a fight. Now, I had a fight with the Scotswood guys, didn't make the newspapers. You have a fight with somebody that's a different culture.
Oh, I did.
And then all of a sudden, the headline said, Paki bashing in the West End.
No.
Trust me, we got bashed more than they got bashed. However, you're thinking, why did we do that?
Yes.
And it was a gang thing.
Yes.
And
it's not because they are Paki, it's because they're different. It's a different clan.
It was just a different gang. It wasn't a question of, there was no colour involved.
Like Muck Paki and Muck
You would have thought them
Benwell.
if they'd been mixed race in that gang.
You still would be.
We fought the Scotswood lads and they were all friendly.
But media
friendly.
takes that, when the Palestine thing was happening and I was heavily involved, there were 500 people. At maximum 50 people were Muslim. Of them, maximum 5 or 10 were women. One woman had a hijab on, one Syrian woman. So all the English people are lying down, playing dead because they feel very bad for the Arabs being beaten up and killed and so on, regularly even today as it happens. Which picture does the Evening Chronicle publish?
The hijab.
That one hijab woman.
Of course.
Not the English people who are supporting the cause.
But it's just that I think in the Northeast, we're quite like a fight. Now, we do. There's a certain something, and I got it out of my system. It was really hard to get out of my system. But the funny thing was, I fell for this Indian girl, and we kept
fell in love.
I tried to go out with her, but our family were resistant to it. This white guy, we don't want him.
Yeah, he's white, he's lower caste.
We're no good.
Yeah. Obviously.
So,
he's got a girlfriend, he's Christian even.
And
he speaks Geordie.
They presumed I was a Christian. But, so it was all bad news, and it didn't work out. But she was lovely, and met her indirectly through fighting with her brothers and her cousins and all the rest of it. So there's sometimes a little bit of fate kind of intervenes.
Zafar Bhatti was saying before you came on the show that 100 of us blokes go and marry a woman and she comes away. How brave she is. I said in the ancient times in India, 100 or 50 of us would go to Giet's Head with my friends, pick a fight with someone, kill the bugger, take his blood, and if I was a Hindu, and put the blood in the parting of her hair. The sindoor, have you seen Indian women with red hair? That's all it represents, the blood of a brother.
Right.
So these are very symbolic things. We don't go far.
I'm totally against the whole aggression thing.
Yes.
I used to be a bully when I was a little kid.
You were a bully.
I was a bully for the first junior school.
Yes.
The little school, and then I moved to the big school where all the kids' brothers that I'm beaten.
Were you tall then?
I was about 5'10", and I've never grown any bigger since the day. But I was huge when I was a kid, and so I beat up all these little kids. Then you move to the big school, you meet about 15 of their brothers who move you and broke my nose twice
Because you harmed their kid.
Smacked their. Listen, but there's a lesson in life there. You know what goes around, in fact, always
comes around.
Always comes
around. It is
around.
called the law of karma.
It is instant karma. Sometimes, but so I learned a big lesson there, and I remember again in this part of the world, slightly West Denton-y, I was walking along, and this kid, who I could have flattened, spat on the back of my coat and says, "Come on."
Spat on the back of
my coat.
Coat
I was wearing, and said, "Come on, you ginger."
Are you a ginger?
Well, whatever this is. Come on, you ginger, such and such. I'm gonna. Now I could have hammered him, and you're thinking, I've just got the job on the wireless, on the radio. If I hammer him,
It's in the papers.
It's in the papers. DJ ruined my whatever. So you've got to take it.
Yeah.
And it's happened a couple of times since. And you've got to bite your lip, and you got to hold it all.
So
in.
you respond, you don't react.
It's getting the balance though, isn't it? Because if you always just backed off, you're not who you are.
No. Well, I mean, then again, where it's usually women on two other occasions. I've had my nose broken 5 times. The last 2
So
times.
you had 4 divorces, but your nose broken only 5 times.
We're not going to
Funnily
ask what the
enough-
others did.
No, funnily enough, it was none of that. But
No.
what it was really, if somebody rings up and says, my children are being abused, or my husband's done this to
Your
me,
sense of justice just jumps
I
in.
will go
Yes.
get them out.
Yes.
And sometimes you'll say, is the guy going to be about? And she says, no, he's at the pub, he'll be there till 2 in the morning. I'll be there at midnight, we'll get you out by 1. Well, he's home by 11:30, waiting for me to arrive. Then the fight ensues. While I'm fighting, the girl and her family get into the vans that I've provided. We get as much of their gear away as we possibly can. So there's certain things that I'll not move past. Anything to do with child sex abuse,
Yes.
anything to do with abuse of women.
Because, a culture is decided by how you treat the weaker people. If women are weaker, if children are weaker, how do we treat them? Are we civilized or are we just encultured?
Yeah, but you see, it's not that straightforward, because you meet a woman in court over a divorce, she's stronger than you.
Yes.
So it depends where you are.
Why do you think I never took my divorces to court? I said to Auntie, I said, look, you're not getting on with me. It's 10 years we've been together.
I can understand that.
Yeah, and I said, look, as a bloke, as an Indian bloke, I can't let you divorce me. I'll do the divorce. I'll pay you for everything that you... And we just amicably settled. I had grown up. Otherwise, people fight and fight and fight. I had 500,000 taken from me by a company.
Yeah.
I don't have the wherewithal to fight them. But I'm happy, Bunny.
Well,
It's letting go, isn't
but
it?
this is different. There's a cultural difference here.
Go on.
Because I had my entire life savings stolen from me by a guy who was my agent, and it was every penny that I had.
Okay.
You went, but I'm happy. I wanted to kill him and bury him in a heath in Council where nobody would
I
find.
want to kill them, but I can't. Why not laugh about it?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I
didn't kill him.
I got ripped off
Oh,
in a
did
car
you?
once. I got ripped off in a car once, and I wanted to do something with the guy, and probably still do now. He's probably dead because it was a long time ago. But
If karma, I trust that karma's got all of these.
but I'm quite a peaceful bloke most of the time.
Yeah. But press the right buttons.
Yeah. Oh yes.
There is a very famous Indian actor called Amir Khan. Not only is he Muslim, he does all those unusual movies.
All right, yeah.
He spends years becoming the part and then makes a movie. He's not the other Khans who just make movie for a bit cash.
Right.
He did a whole series in India on pedophilia, and live people came and said, my grandfather's brother raped me. Men in India on television. So he's changed the Indian culture and the rape and all that.
It needs change.
Yes. So I was doing his show from here, just like you're watching, and there was somebody else, we were chatting. And one of our presenters called Rob Pugel, he does a show on Saturday. He said that when my parents came, they were very simple people. They knew nothing about pedophilia, nothing. And this photographer, obviously a white guy, used to take my brother and me out to Kill the Forest and did it live. And I just, it's easy doing the show, but when I edit, I wept. You know, how much courage it needs. But now he's a free agent. Having said all this, and he said also that I've done things to my own cousin in York. It takes a lot of balls to say that, and he did. So I really admire what you do, because we should stand up for women, children, anyone being abused, and not hide behind the alleged name of religion or culture.
But the religion thing's got me in all kinds of trouble. I've had letters from the Vatican telling me to calm down. It's like, whoa, hang
The
on.
Pope saying it.
No, it's on behalf of Pope.
Can I do a letter from Narendra Modi to you from India? It raises your stakes, No, but I think, why do we use any old excuse to be abusive, whether it's religion or culture? It's like throwing the Bible.
No, but you see, my argument against the Vatican is, in America, 1,111,000 children raped and abused by members of a church. Whoa! How many went to prison? 2. Whoa!
Yes.
It's the biggest child sex abuse ring
Yes.
in the history of the world.
Yes.
And we're supposed to go,
And to church.
well,
and
what happened with those people? Just shuffled the pack.
Yeah.
Just moved everybody about so that nobody knew what was going on. It's sinful, and each
Abusive,
and
and
every
those
one of those guys
damaged forever.
should have gone to prison
Yes.
and never got out again.
What do you make of Jimmy Savile?
Knew Jimmy Savile. Jimmy Savile was on the same station that I'm at, well, the AM station of it, the magic side of things. Always knew he was slippery and slimy where women were concerned.
Okay.
Because he hit on a couple of people at the building, and you think, you can come back into me trailer, because he had this trailer thing with him, and you're thinking, well, nobody in their right mind is actually going to do that.
Yes, yes.
However, go back to when he was the great power that he was, you know, Jim will fix it, he was on TV, he was on top of the pops, you got a bit more kudos about you. Did it surprise me? He looked too obvious. You know, you look at somebody, you go, blimey, he's a paedophile. You cannot see it because he had his sock suit off. He looked like a paedophile to everyone, pretty much, and yet he did everything that he did in the full glare
Yes.
of publicity, which hit him.
So he was so bold that nobody dared open their mouth.
And those that questioned him, you know, because the police had been informed of a couple of occasions. And how did I feel about him? Jimmy Savile used to do the Great North Run. Now I host the Great North Run every year, and Jimmy used to be always the last guy off the mark. And he would come up and he would say, Alan, you're amazing, bless you, love you, da, 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 da. And I'd say, good luck, Jimmy, you're raising money. And to all intents and purposes, he was a quirky, weird kind of guy.
But iconic and...
But raising fortunes for charity.
Yes, yes.
So it's very difficult when you've got somebody doing that.
So much
for
good
one person who has gone there for an autograph and got a lot more than they bargained for, to come forward and say, he was the guy that did that.
He's too big to be touched.
But the worst thing about it is that, of course, he died before they could bring him to justice.
But it's come out. I mean, it's a bit like the rape in India of that girl, that hideous rape
Oh.
2 years ago. But as a consequence, there was a recent rape of a girl through Uber taxis. Have you heard of UBER, Uber? It's a company in Texas.
Right.
So if you're a girl or a boy in India, in Delhi, you press the Uber button, the taxi driver phones you or texts you, I'm Karamchand or I'm Dr. Anand, I'm the taxi driver, I'm coming and picking up in 13 minutes.
Right.
You feel safe. So in gets a girl who's drunk, slightly, coming alone in a taxi, which is bad even in Benwell Lake. And he bit her, he raped her, but because of the first rape, she photographed his number plate. He then phones her and says, don't you dare go to the police. But she did.
Good.
So suddenly women are growing a spine in India, in Delhi.
Indeed, too. Actually, at the beginning of my show, I look around the world to see what's happening. And I went through a whole phase where in India this, in India that, in India this, in India that. And you're thinking, why? Because everybody that I know who's Indian is like a decent, ordinary human being.
Even me.
How, even you. Why are they allowing this
Because
kind of
there's many,
treatment
there's
to their
many
women?
Indias. There are many Indias, you know.
Yeah.
The guy who's raping her, his left ear was gone because somebody hit him when he was 14 trying to rape a girl. He's been in jail. So the thing is, these uncultured, uneducated village louts with huge sexual drive come to a city, and if you're wearing a pair of jeans, you're a prostitute. That's their view. And the girl thinks, I'm just a Mumbai girl working for an international company, living my own life. I might have a live-in boyfriend. So there are many Indians living together.
But it all boils down to ignorance.
Yes.
And this is why I know we've got people who can't get a job and would love to get a job. We also have here a lot of people who could get a job but won't get a job at the minimum wage because their benefit's higher than the minimum wage.
It doesn't pay
so
me to work.
They're trapped,
Yes,
kinda.
Yes, absolutely.
Unless they can get two jobs to escape from that hole. So the benefit system needs re-rigging.
Yes, I totally.
However, there's also this other inch or so at the the dredge, the bit at the bottom, where these people are rapists, murderers, robbers, burglars, sexual assaulters, all the people on the sex offenders. They don't want a job, they're not going to get a job, they're going to live on benefit and steal, many of them, all their life. Now, I would love the 3 strikes and you're out system to come in. Just purely and simply, because there was a guy went up...
Because they go in and the know the punishment is
It's minimal.
Minimal. You know, if it's a fine, they'll pinch the fine.
Yes.
To
Well,
pay for
they
it.
rob because they know they're going to court.
Yeah.
So I'm going to break into another couple of houses, get a bit of money, so I can pay the... It's a ridiculous mess. However, when you hear, and there's a guy sadly from the West End, because I want people to hear about the good
things,
stuff that's happening.
Newcastle,
I don't want to hear bad things about our part of the world.
Yeah.
But you've got a guy in the West End. He was in for his 73rd burglary.
Oh my God.
73rd burglary, and 4 of them had been with violence. You know, they'd found people in the house and he'd kind of beaten them up. These people should never. You put them in prison after 3, you save 70 homes having to go through all that.
I have a proposal.
Go
You know,
ahead.
the phone calls go to India is cheaper. Make things in China is cheaper. I want to start a prison in India for British criminals.
Great.
And there'll be a webcam so we don't kill them. They get Indian chapati and curry and all that, but no television, no sex, no drugs, and life will become so boring. But it'll cost a 10th as much as it costs in Durham, because you know it costs £60,000 to put somebody in a prison. Then it costs £30,000 a year for boring farts like you and me. But for a young guy like him who could be a druggie, junkie, etc., is more. It costs £30,000 more. It's very expensive keeping a prisoner.
Absolutely.
Or someone in hospital. But we've institutionalized everything because we've taken everything out of society into corporations. The national health, it's a wonderful thing. If I go out of it, I love it. If I'm inside it, I hate it because it's so wasteful. It's so wasteful, you know. I'm 68, I'm on no drugs whatsoever because I'm a happy bunny, bit like you. You know, if you're happy, you don't want to be ill, man.
No.
But there are people it serves to be ill, otherwise they're
Well,
no
you heard that
significant.
woman about the woman from the Queen Elizabeth Hospital.
What did she do? Like?
She's, you know how they're talking about, please don't go into A&E because come over Christmas it was a total breakdown.
Yeah.
This woman has visited A&E in Gateshead in 365 days, 504 times. Now,
How can that be right?
Well, she's going in 2 or 3 times a day.
But suppose she has a heart attack and dies, so what? Let her go. Yes, we are working in fear all the time in this country.
Right.
You know, I've done some really crazy things in general practice. I don't know how the GMC put up with me for all those years till they found me out because I had that sick note saga, which we'll talk about sometime. I really kept putting my nose up, the PCT and all, but my patients still love me. And that's what I'm working for. The government is paying me, but my employer is the customer, not the government. I don't care two hoots. Even now the GMC wants me to pay 75 times to 150 pounds for 2 years registration. I just text them back, no money.
Well, you've seen this with the free
I
schools.
don't care.
This is this issue with the free schools in Durham. You know, you're hearing all the parents on one side saying everything's fantastic and the kids are having a good time, and then or whatever it is, and they're saying they're learning, and yet the ticky box people, the Ofsteds, are coming in saying it's a rubbish school. Now, you know, what is the right story?
What about schools? How do you rate schools in Britain? If you're good in maths, they say he's a nerd.
Well, I'm one of Mrs. Thatcher's incomprehensives, I am.
But not incomprehensible.
I went to a comprehensive school.
Which one?
John Marley. It was
I know John Marley.
Wickham View was the first one. John Marley Lower,
Yeah.
and then John Marley Upper School.
Well, they have a technical thing of Newcastle College now.
They do.
Yeah.
Everything kind of merged to become Westgate Community College,
yes.
just across the road from it.
That was Rutherford, was it?
That was Rutherford.
Yeah.
Yes.
But Slatyford went there too, and
then
some of the John Marley people ended up going there
He
too.
knows a lot like.
But keep your finger on the pulse, like. But
I went to Pendower Hall. Remember Pendower Hall? I went there.
because of your wheelchair.
the only
Well, not in the wheelchair that time. I used to walk around.
there was a school at Pendower that was an old girls' school. I knew that one very well because we got finished about 15 minutes before them, so we could run from our school to the girls' school, so that when they came out having cooked pies and pasties and cakes, we could rob the girls of whatever
This wise man with a gift, he's one of the 3 wise men. He hasn't brought you frankincense or myrrh or anything.
Right,
He's
first
brought
of
you
all,
food.
we'll get this over with because I'd love to do this.
It's not a parking fine, is
No,
it?
I don't know parking. I just want your autograph.
Oh, that's easy.
Can-
Can you give the book?
Oh!
That was my joke. That was a
There
joke.
you go. I'll leave you what's on the seat.
I've done this since 1977.
Is that right? Well, how annoying are
Everybody loves me. There's just a bit of a fun.
You know, I used to dread this man. He used to phone on Radio Spice FM, the other place, and he used to go on. I said, how do you block this fellow? One day, I just went to his house, met his family, and we've been actually friends from there.
you? Right.
You know, the thing we hate, you should go to it.
Well, he came on the night. I was telling me about. I can't even remember what the issue was. Where you got well and truly stuck in, and he's a good man.
And did I tell you that joke as well on air? And
You did.
Cut me off.
Because you're a bad, wicked.
I just told that joke on air.
Recently his beard was trimmed.
Yeah.
Right.
And I said, instead of that long ugly beard, you look
I've done this to
handsome.
this friend of mine,
Ah.
and I've got him with this, and I've got a lighter that does the same thing.
Ah,
Took a
right,
shock.
right.
He got his scissors out of the canteen.
For a joke.
And he cut my beard off. He cut 5 inches off because I had long beard. I'll show you.
Right.
I had a long beard up there. I was trying to grow
Well,
it
if you
longer.
ever try that with me again, I'll cut something off.
Right, I've made some. And
It's
about 5
Oh,
o'clock.
no, can I trust a bodgy after that?
5 o'clock this morning, I was up making these.
Oh, well,
Not
bless you.
especially for you, but I do this for charity.
That's
At
very
work,
nice.
I sell them at work to the lads. And
That's very good.
He's a very canny bloke, like, you know. He's a good
And you can all share them. I've got some
Well, bless, thank you.
mint sauce as well. You can.
Okay.
Well, again, thank you, Sal.
But since it's presentation time,
I've got your name written on Alan Robson. These are for you.
and sir, I want to present you a extra large T-shirt.
Thank you very much.
Not hinting at your
Spice
visa
up
No,
size.
you are.
Two
That's
shirts.
exactly what you're doing, Rob.
Okay.
Spice
There you
up
go, thank you.
Okay. So really, on a more serious note, I think you could help our station a lot.
If I can.
You can be our Jimmy Savile, you know.
No, steady.
Because, you know, this station is run on ego and very poor finance. We don't even have the time to go collect the advertising money. Can you raise some funds for Spice?
I don't know how, but what do you have in mind?
Some.
I'll help you.
It's
I will do it.
getting together off air and just on a chat, you know.
Yeah.
We're live on at the minute, but I
I
think
will-
having planted the seed like we've done now,
Let's-
you know, let's
do
put
something.
some event
But on
together.
top of that, there may well be stuff from the radio station that we don't use that would fit in very nicely.
Would love to come and see them, but also any adverts that come for you who can't afford anything. Tell them there's I'm your son from today, though I'm 9 years older.
Yeah, we'd have to be brothers.
Oh, brothers, okay.
Brothers or
But
cousins.
things have evolved. I mean, I've got on. When was it? About August, September when we met for the first time at Toastmasters. I don't know if you've ever heard of Toastmasters. Not the red coats. It's the speaking.
Yeah,
sure.
speakers club. Yeah, we are both in different speaking clubs.
And
but
still we speak to each other.
So we got involved through that, and you know, he'd come on and have a talk about my life, and then he'd come on every week. So Thursday's my week. You've
Thursday
taken
is
over
his
today,
day.
which is fine. I mean, I'm glad.
On Wednesday we do spiritual shows, so we show something about Buddha or Dalai Lama, and Rosario's gone and others. We had a show with 6 people in the studio yesterday, and the thing is we video it all and then put it on YouTube.
Right.
It's like a weblog.
Can I just say something about the Raising Fund? I've asked you before. I will
Yeah,
do
yeah.
a 24-hour table tennis marathon in our mosque.
Okay, we
I've got
can
a
do it.
table there. I've got a.
We'll do it.
And that pool table is still there. Remember, I've got a pool table. up here.
Yeah, so we'll do it. I mean, you've got a lot of ideas that
I've got the ideas, but no.
But they get to
What you want to do, you want to get a big audience in there and do a talky thing, and I'd come on and do a bit of a talky thing, or take questions or whatever.
You know, some night we could
We
just
can do
link
that.
the 2 stations.
I don't know. Personally, I don't see any reason why not. But if you want to raise money,
Yes,
get people to come to an event
yes.
where the
You'll be our chief
it's very
guest.
similar. I could come along. and-
Okay, thank you. Well, that's because you know the station has so many people putting so much time, effort, energy.
Best
But-
times for me are middle of the day,
Okay.
Saturday. Well, any day across the week, middle of the day.
Well, I'm on Monday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, Saturday. I'm
Oh,
here.
there
I
you
live
go.
here.
So, bottom line is, let's find a time that's suitable for both of us, and we put a live show on of some kind.
Okay.
We get someone. You grab people from the community to do various things,
Yet yours are
singing and
here.
dancing. Well, I'm just find a venue. I don't know how many people are going to take in here.
Well, we can just throw a wire across and do an outside broadcast 10 feet away from
Right.
the bistro.
Right.
I'll organize something.
Think about something, yeah.
But
But if
you-
anybody wants to ask questions, I'll put a couple of games on and we'll bring prizes.
Okay.
and things.
Do,
My-
do something on an International Wheelchair Day.
Okay.
Right, let's take that away and have a look at its study. I created International Wheelchair Day, 1st of March. This is the 8th one.
Right.
So we'll get celebs to do
Nice
something
meeting
to
you.
highlight
Lovely
the
seeing
I'll
you.
wheelchair.
talk to you again on the radio.
Hey, no worries.
Okay.
I'm a night owl as well.
Bless you.
I've got a day owl here called Sayyid Hassan.
Good afternoon, gentlemen. I knew there was a massive big party going on here, so I had to come in, you know.
He's my twin, except he was born in Delhi. I was born in India as well. Except at 6 months he went to Pakistan because it was formed.
Right.
But he's a Muslim, I'm a Hindu, so-called.
Right.
But we
All right.
get on like a house on fire.
I'm about to suggest to you, gentlemen, if you would allow me, to set up a new Indian Holocaust, where when the country was divided, some 2 billion people vanished. There's no quantification.
He
like
lost
6
62
billion
people.
Jews.
But you know, we never talk about Red Indians getting killed, Slovaks getting killed. I'm nothing against Holocaust, but there are other losses, you know.
Let's do a show on it.
I'm telling you,
Let us do
And
a full
I
4
will
hour
tell you
show on it.
something very interesting which I haven't spoken to anyone about, and of course not to.
The only thing I'll say to you is, if there are others like you who have stories to tell,
Right.
one day I'll invite you to our studio.
Yes,
sure.
You can bring your people in. We'll get the
But
story
we'll
out.
connect the people through Spice. We'll be
Right.
like your sub-distributor.
Okay.
And you're the warehouse.
Fine.
Okay, so we'll
Well,
bring them
I'll
in.
tell you the true one, as told by, related by my mother and people I've met across, for this particular spot where the whole thing started and it went into a terrible tremor, resulting in the loss of some 2 million people's lives, which
And
should have been
14
blocked.
million dislocated
Oh,
who are still
absolutely,
treated like
yes,
foreigners.
yes, they're still on both sides. They're really. It's
But the ones who have gone to Pakistan are called Mahajar, means the outsider, after 3-4 generations.
Unbelievable.
So they're still feeling like an outsider.
Oh yes, it's actually the debacle hasn't really
Sorted out yet. We're still killing each other.
crystallized into a sensible. Yes, it's happening all over.
I should be killing him, you know. He's a Muslim Pakistani. I'm a Hindu Indian.
Well,
So why aren't we killing each other? Because we're in Britain.
But can I just say, as
Don't
you're
use
in,
don't use the rusted dagger. You can
as
use
you're
the-
in Britain,
Ah.
usually it's the guy with the black face who gets shot first.
Yeah. So let's do something like that. Yes.
Yeah.
So let's
Let's do
like
that.
cities are twinned. There's a lot of interest in what you do among a lot of the Asians who are a lot of them taxi drivers who are they're either listening to Spice or Alan Robson.
Less.
You know. So let's interdigitate, and I think we could do a lot of good work. There's nothing you said that I disagree with yet. You're the first boring guy I've met. Totally agree with. There's absolutely nothing. I believe in ghosts. You believe in ghosts, and there are people actually heals people from ghosts. I've actually seen
Right.
it. There was a family that came in with blood on them, a Sikh family, because the dog hanged himself by running around, and the dog hanged himself in the garage, but the blood was dripping in the kitchen. And unless these people are liars, there's a lady who was 28 stones who was brought in by car in a stretcher kind of thing. 8 weeks later, she's only a mere 20 stones. So I said, what did you do? She's a Muslim woman. He's given them Ganges water, which is the Hindu stuff.
Right.
And she drank just that for 8 weeks. I mean, there are miracles happening all over the world. You've got to see it.
You see, his role in my parlance would be he's an exorcist.
Yes.
Now, I qualified as an exorcist in 2000. Now, I was taught by a Catholic, although I'm saying, I'm not going to pray to God because I don't believe in him, and if I don't think he's there, no prayer of mine's going to work,
Right.
because I don't believe the guy's there. So therefore, can anybody remove spirit from people? And the answer is
Not if you don't believe in it.
well, yes, you can, but you just have to believe in the person. You have to
Okay,
believe in
okay.
the person doing it.
Yes.
And it's kind of like that placebo effect, maybe.
Yes.
You can calm things down. And we've been to homes
I'd
where,
love to be with you to see a ghost. Honestly, I'd love to.
well, one day I'll scare the
it's-
pants off you with it.
Okay, I'll wear underpants and
Toupee.
and what do you call them? Something to hold the shit back. You can't say shit on air.
It's faith and spirituality together,
It is.
which creates all that. Like you said, if you don't believe in it,
But,
nothing's
but
gonna
you
happen.
can believe in a person rather than a spirit.
But then eventually you believe in it and you go and investigate and you set up a big machine in CERN in Geneva.
Oh, it's
The God particle.
Oh.
What came out
The
of it? I
God
don't
particle
know.
is sitting in this room, man.
No, somebody got a Nobel Prize, and I saw him as well in.
I have an experiment. You're a failed Christian.
I am.
He's a sort of a failed Muslim. I'm a failed Hindu. If you brought Zamzam water, Ganges water, and Lourdes water, I gave you the Ganges water, him the Lourdes water, and me the Zamzam water, would it work?
Now, can I just tell you that first of all, let's cover the Ganges first. right?
Okay, it's very dirty at the
The
minute.
Ganges is a hacky, filthy river.
Absolutely, khaki.
It's- And also, because of the burnings and the
And the semi-burnt bodies.
semi-burnt bodies going into the river, you've now got catfish that are nearly 40 foot long.
Yes, because they're
having this
they're going to
feast
lovely, juicy Hindu,
every
lovely,
day.
tasty vegetarian meat.
So I would think twice before putting my foot in the Ganges.
Yes.
And I know it's a sacred river. Even so, I would keep well away.
Okay.
The other river I don't know about,
Okay.
Lourdes, has been. It's just a calm. I mean,
It's got some minerals in it.
Oh, yeah. I mean, I can-
Phosphor and
yeah,
stuff like that.
but
you know.
it's just like what water has it. Do you know what I mean? If you get natural water from the rock, it's got,
Or from Asda.
or from wherever.
You
Yeah.
boil your tap water and you've got salts in there.
There you go.
Oh, they are
But
there.
the bottom line is water has that anyway.
But
Because when you go to
homeopathy works because of the memory of the cells.
well, what I would
I
say
love
about
to talk about these things.
Lourdes,
Uh,
for me, as soon as because I visited Lourdes, not
You
as a
have?
religious, just as passing through. I thought, oh well, stop for 5 minutes here.
And what did you
when
find?
you see a wobbly pope for the dashboard of your car, a wobbly pope that you put on, so when the car moves, the pope's head wobbles. When you can buy Lourdes water, and it's like £8.50 when it's from a tap.
yeah.
No,
It's
this
cash for
This
God.
is just. This is the equivalent of American television. I'll tell you, I was in America 3 years ago, and there was a big evangelist event on, and they were selling T-shirts for $99 each, and the guy on the stage said, if you get one of these T-shirts, you are guaranteed
What?
a place in heaven. A place in heaven if you buy one of these
Place in
T-shirts.
heaven. Next.
Not heaven. No. If they woke up in heaven, they'd be very disappointed.
But all religions do this. I've seen the auctioning of pieces of the cloth from Mecca.
But it all comes down to belief. If you
There are two Hindi
believe that you can be
Absolutely,
cured,
yes.
and it's
Yes.
back to your own God and
Yes.
your own feelings. If
Yes.
you believe you can go to Lord's
Then do it.
and you,
No,
and
but
you
that's
drink
it.
the water and you
And,
get this
and there
stuff.
was a time, I can't tell you how many thousand years ago, there was a phallic symbol. It's like a tree with two balls inside, and women mostly were supposed
I
to go
talk about
and bend
Hindus.
down. No, it's not.
We have got a
don't-
Shiva,
don't-
Shivling.
Yeah, but I mean, this is the fact, and this was the belief system.
Yes.
So if you believe in a
Yes.
tree and say
It
"This is
exists.
my
If you don't
God,"
believe it doesn't. Different. You know, the AA.
So they would go to that tree and become pregnant or impregnated because it was a phallic symbol?
Well, I don't know what they prayed to it, but it was.
But you know,
a form
to
of
defend what you're saying,
Because I've got something that can make that happen. You know what I mean?
it's not frozen off.
It's not.
You can sell yours for
just a bit
$99,000.
When a couple doesn't conceive and they adopt a child, most often they conceive because they've let go of that thought.
They're relaxed.
Yes,
Okay, yeah.
absolutely.
Yeah,
So I'm very heavy on stress. I measure stress with a machine.
But no, the point I was trying to make about the Americans though is families who had no money
Would do that.
were buying 4 T-shirts for the 4 members of their family
Right, to
at
go to heaven,
$99, guaranteeing them to go to heaven. Now,
Right.
to me, first of all, prove that somebody's done this, and then I'll buy a T-shirt. But not until. I just think that we talk about ignorance, and we have people who are not particularly religious who
Okay.
just want to divide the community.
Uh-huh.
People who are overtly religious sometimes do the stupidest things.
But
Well,
they're
they would do,
overtly
yes.
religious because they don't truly believe in it.
Well, these
Because
t-shirts.
they were, I mean, the T-shirt I've given you is not 99.
No, I've got it. I've
But
got
the
a
ones
free
you
one.
mentioned, the heavenly ones, were they sold by a chap called David Koresh in Waco in Texas?
No. Oh, hey, trust me. There's a conference centre near the place where I visit. Every year it's sold out, and there's thousands of people just
Billy
coming
Graham
in.
was here when he gave it. There was so
Billy Graham rang me on
Billy
air,
Graham.
and we had a chat. Do you know who Billy Graham?
Yeah,
is?
yeah.
Billy Graham rang me on air. I was doing a show between 5 and 7 on a Saturday at the time.
Yeah.
And he rang up and he said, hello, I just want to thank everybody in the North for being so kind to us. I've just appeared at the Sunderland Football Stadium and that's fine. I says, my reply to him was, well, that's very nice, I'll do that for you if you want, but I'm doing a rock show here, so what are you ringing me for?
Yeah.
And he says, well, can you play Survivor? So I dug the track out by Survivor. This is for the Reverend Billy Graham, who just wants to say thanks, you guys, for coming. So he seemed like a decent, down-to-earth kind of fella. But once again, I always worry about this whole mass
Holiness, mass hysteria, mass hypnotism.
craziness.
You know, I believe in God, right? But I don't need anyone else near me to sustain that belief. If I
But who
truly-
is your God then?
Me.
Right? I understand the ego concerned with being God.
No, but the ego in the Western terms is different from the ego in the ancient philosophy.
Right.
I'll tell you my idea of religion, right? I'm a spirit. You're a spirit.
Absolutely.
He's a spirit. He's a spirit. Even he's a spirit, okay?
Even him.
But he's like a soap bubble. What's inside a soap bubble? Air. What's outside it? Air. and the ego is the thin shell. But some people's soap bubbles are made of thick rubber. It's too impervious. What's the difference between him and me? Even a gorilla is only 1% different from me and him. So what's the difference between... We are from the same species. Just because he...
Well, we all are them.
Yeah, but no, but he's more from my part of the world, which was India once. What is the difference culturally? Zero. We just play at it, because somebody tells, go and kill him, he's a Hindu, go and kill him, he's a Muslim.
Absolute rubbish.
It's all nonsense.
I mean, I've been, we talk about the Anglo-Saxon, and I got a book which is not available now. It was written 88 years ago. The Saxon race actually started from Norway and went to Saxony in South Germany. From there they spread. So we have Anglo-Saxon, and then you have Anglo-Indians, which Engelbert Humperdinck, and who else?
Cliff Richard and the whole lot, who are ashamed to be Indian.
Yeah.
They're so white.
They're
You
considered
see,
white.
this is what always makes me laugh, because you've got people like the English Defence League,
Right.
who are a bunch of clowns.
Oh,
but when you say, why do you call yourself English? Because if you go and you find out where the Angles, that's where English comes from, find out where the Angles are, you're about 700 or 800 miles
away.
Further west.
The EDL are waiting to discover a lot of things which we've already discovered a long time ago, because they've got a thing in front of their eyes.
The first thing I'd like to do for EDL is to go and send them to a literacy class.
Absolutely would help.
Study a bit.
Learn a bit about their own history.
Their own, never mind others. Yeah.
Because here in Britain, we're mongrels.
But it's the gang thing that you talked about earlier on. The same. Some of them are latching onto that just because it's the big thing to do.
We want to fight. Who can we fight with? Oh, they fight people. I'll do that.
Exactly.
That's the ignorant thing again.
But also, monkeys and humans have a thing called Schadenfreude. They enjoy giving pain.
Absolutely.
It's a very sad thing to admit that
True.
we actually
Oh, yeah.
enjoy giving pain. We do hunting, we do boxing, we do all kinds of
Absolutely,
cruel
yeah.
sports. We do all kinds of perverse, bizarre, peculiar things. And we go and kill people, and then the queen or
And then we
someone
cover it up.
gives us a medal. I mean, the woman has been made a bloody widow-like, and she's happy to receive a medal. What's all that about,
Yeah.
Go and kill yourself, we'll give you a medal.
This-
And some...
But that's the same as what terrorists are telling people.
Exactly.
They're saying, oh, your guy's going to go to heaven. Thank you very much for
Yeah.
helping him kill himself.
Do
And you're
you
thinking,
go into TED Talks?
who's the idiot?
In TED Talks, there's a lady, a Muslim lady, who's gone to the school for not scoundrels, but suicide bombers. They're from a very poor family. There are many of them. They have no significance in that family. No television, no radio, no movies, no sex, no auto sex or nothing. They're just bored out of their minds. Along comes a guy who says, I'll take your child to school. The mother and father know exactly which kind of school he's going to. He's totally trained from the age of 7 to become a terrorist. But the family gets 2,000-3,000 rupees. I'm just giving one kind of example. The same things happen in India if you want to go to a certain kind of sect to become a very serious kind of Hindu.
Yes.
But I think
You
it's
get
time-
brainwashed
yeah,
into what you
it's
need
time
to.
to become a bit light about it,
Well, I just think it's very hard to be light about... and I think once Paris happened, I think every other Western city thought, if it could happen in Paris,
It can happen anywhere.
It could happen anywhere.
Yes.
It could happen in our streets. And then you start to... It's no longer this mad thing that happened to drummer Rigby, say.
Yes.
It's not a one-off that
Oh.
we'll never see the like
that
of
was,
again.
That was the height of it. I mean,
No,
that
but
was
you're seeing a
stupidity.
minor version of it in Gateshead.
That's true.
It's the same thing, And in India it's said, I mean, in the old days, you can clap only with 2 hands. So the community that's being hard done by should also think, what are we not doing right? It's not one way, It's not suddenly that the Parisians have gone nuts and started drawing cartoons.
Right, but there is a view on all this terrorism thing. There are people who are not in the mosques; they're actually out in the street, and they are preaching the negativity of all
Yes,
this.
yes.
And there are others. They are fools. They could be considered fools. They are stopping there and listening to it. And this is what happened in the matter of Leary, the guy whose name I don't want to mention, who was giving this thing to people. He should really be caught and put aside.
What I don't
I don't want to
understand
mention
is,
his
and
name.
I've said this on air, what I don't understand is we have the hate preacher.
Yes.
Now, if you are...
A man with a hook, for instance.
Well, any
Hamza.
of these there's 2 or 3 new ones just appearing.
Right.
And you're thinking, I hate Britain. Britain's a horrible... What are you here
Well, it is.
for?
You here? Why
You know,
should
just
you
to
get out?
buy?
But
to
as I
off you
say,
go.
Go to where you came
takes
from,
two-
or
Or
Timbuktu.
whatever. It's
It
great.
takes 2 to clap the hands, All this stuff with taxi drivers and grooming girls and all. Why don't you do something about it? Why so bloody politically correct? So the British police is so unracial. As long as you're black or brown, or Muslim or Hindu, I won't arrest you. Why? I think there's an over-service of the Asians, I mean,
I think that's true, but people are scared to say it because again, it appears to be politically incorrect.
But let's be politically
And
incorrect.
that's just real.
And that's the issue with a lot of stuff,
Isn't it? The blame game really comes in now. Everybody's frightened to do anything, and I think it holds you back from.
But what's the
speaking your
point
mind.
of being in Britain and not being honest in your language? This is the only country in the world, I say this again, this is the only country in the world where I can speak my mind and not get murdered. And if I get murdered, fine, Why be a human being and a sheep?
Alan's just proved that doesn't work anymore with the IRA.
But you'd be allowed to say what you feel like.
In my life,
what's
I've
correct.
been, threatened by a lot of different people, all the racist organisations, and it's funny, because they can be found out so easily. And I had one guy rang me, and he was. Do you remember there used to be a thing called the National Front before the EDL and all these other things? And this guy came on, and he was going black this and black that, and you're thinking, whoa, do you know anyone who's a different colour to yourself? Well, that's no point. That's not the point. I said, well, it actually is the point. Have you ever met somebody from any other culture?
Have you spoken to
Have you
anyone?
met somebody from Scotland? Do you know?
Good. Never mind India, Pakistan.
I mean, the biggest number of people we have from foreign lands
Is from Scotland.
Yeah, no, well, Scotland there's a lot. Ireland, funnily enough,
Oh, I know.
Ireland's the biggest.
Yes.
But they were the first
Yeah.
importees who came and built our roads and everything.
They did all the
We
jobs.
still
man.
do Murphy's.
Absolutely, but they still do all the jobs we don't. We don't
want to
do.
do.
But the thing is, you show these people up for what they are, stupid people, and they end up, as this guy did on air, going. And I knew he was going to slam the phone down. I just didn't know whether he was going to
He
swear
wanted
at
Lord
me,
Griffin
whether he
by
was going to
chance,
swear
wasn't
at me before he put the phone down.
May I speak to your producer, who hasn't said a word
Oh
about
yeah.
How do you survive this guy?
It's actually great. It's because it's the chance to be real and do real life stuff.
How old are you?
I'm 25.
As a 25, you're the producer of Alan Robson.
Well, he's
Well.
a deputy. Because my producer's in Egypt at the moment. However, Chris is a guy that I brought into the business, and I've brought him up and trained him and custom built him to be able to do what I need.
So you're like an apprentice.
If you like, I suppose. Yeah.
Will both of you allow me to sit quietly, which is just about possible if you put a tape on my mouth, and watch you do a show? Because you do a lot of stuff that I want to do. Like, say this is the truth. I mean, say a lot, but I don't say enough.
Right.
I'm still worried and concerned. What will people say? What will this one say? What will
Well,
that
you
one?
have to worry because everybody's looking at talk, because talk's the easiest thing for radio stations to get rid of. All they've got to say is, we don't want any more of that.
And we just put music on.
They put a bit of music on. It's cheaper. Don't have to pay this guy. Don't have to pay all the
No,
people.
we are not
who
even
work for-
paid here.
Well, no.
We put our necks on the line and get for the privilege and get our neck chopped off.
The only difference between the two is there's more people likely to do me harm because I've got there's
You've got a bigger
slightly more
circle.
people. I've got a
Yeah.
bigger circle of people there.
What's your list of figures? And do you have anything?
2.8 million on. We are on TFM
online as well.
online. We're all over the world. We've got some people listen everywhere.
Wow.
And we had a lovely thing from Lakshmi.
It sounds a Hindu woman.
It exactly was. She went to
Lakshmi is the goddess of wealth.
So why have I not been on?
I have no idea whether they make it happen. Lakshmi, a young girl called Lakshmi sent me an email 2 days ago saying, and at first I'm thinking, have I had an affair with this woman and I don't know about it? She started the letter saying, oh my dear Alan, how much I miss you.
Wow.
And I'm thinking, I've obviously made an impression.
Somewhere.
Somewhere, absolutely. But she went to university from India to Newcastle. She listened for 3 years while she was here, every single night, 4
But she
hours.
can go online and listen to you.
She still can't, and she is doing now,
Okay.
but she hadn't been. And she's just saying, how I miss England, I wish I could come there.
So you represent England, not Mr.
To
Cameron.
her, it seems.
Not Mr. Cameron.
It seems. I would have her back. 'Cause first of all, she's bright. She's working in the medical industry. All people we can use.
You should
And
have straight away have said, look, I'm going to issue a visa and send it to you wherever you want it. And of course, you're talking to the Hindu goddess Lakshmi. I love Lakshmi.
Goddess of wealth.
If,
Yeah,
if
God
you're,
of wealth,
if
yeah.
you're giving pleasure to people, it's what that country represents. You're the representing the country in some way.
Well, kind of. I mean, the nice thing is that to know that when you switch the wireless on, You're the breakfast show in Australia. You're the afternoon show in America. And you're the late night show here.
Absolutely.
So day owls does it.
Around the
We were
world.
talking about day owls earlier
it's
on.
very-
8 minutes, so in 8 hours.
It's very nice. It's
The time
very,
difference.
very nice. And the thing I love best about it is, and it's just purely and simply, you never know what you're going to get.
Yes.
And last night we had a lovely show going, talking about all different kinds of things. Nothing too heavy, a lot of laughs, and then all of a sudden, bisexuality raised its head. Like, you should be a bisexual. You're more fun being a bisexual. And I think that's just greedy of yourself, because you should be able to manage with one.
What you're given, yeah.
However, and all of a sudden you just go off in a completely different direction.
Yeah. But that's where life takes it.
But it's wonderful.
So it's the flexibility you have,
But
isn't
I spend hours working on the beginning of my show with all of these subjects that
And the
people
biggest
talk
thing is
about.
somewhere completely-
They
demolish
never
it.
talk about a single thing.
But that's
They
the
just
beauty. But that's your beauty. isn't
head
it?
off in the
You
middle
allow
of
it to go where it goes.
Where, yeah.
Like water flows naturally.
good, yes.
You don't dam the
Well,
thing.
Go with the flow.
we
Go
occasionally
with the
plan things in this.
With
I mean,
that
I
lovely-
come in on here on a Thursday and we plan things, but it never works.
It never
anyhow.
works out.
You know, something
Go with the
happens.
people. The people always know better than you.
Yes.
Yeah, you're here to serve them, not to serve your own ego.
Absolutely.
Absolutely.
With that lovely thought, I
Is
think
that the £99 heavenly t-shirt?
No, I think this is the one that will probably send me to hell.
Well, it's a good thing you mentioned it because I've just driven past a shop yesterday called Heavenly Scent, and scent is S-C-E-N-T.
Oh, very
So they
good.
sell-
okay. So we have had a God-sent person, Alan Robson.
Bless you.
Wow.
So I hope you can help us raise some funds and turn the station into a little metro.
Well, we'll certainly try.
Thank you.
And I tell you what we can do for publicity is get you on a show.
Okay. Anytime.
Fantastic. And I just discovered you, Alan Robson. The famous Alan Robson.
Did you know that?
No, I didn't.
You didn't know you're talking
I'm
to.
gobsmacked. Yeah.
Okay. Thank you very much. Namaste, Adab, Sat Sri Akal.
Fantastic.
We're off.
There's nothing else playing, so I have to play something from here.
Lovely.
Have a read of that. See, I think there's a story around there. Get me on. I do disability stuff.
Would you like some coffee?
Coffee and
I would love a cup of coffee.
Okay.
they won't give you a curry, but chips.
Would you like to come into the restaurant? He is my bestest friend. We've had our moments,
At the very least,
but India and
How
Pakistan.
the hell do you put up with it? We talk for an hour here and an hour
They
there.
give each other all the time.
No, we really get on. And it's this to the Indians and Pakistanis, for the Hindus and Muslims. He comes and does this to the Muslims, I can do this to the
I just decided it was it. I chose 1st of March because we
Race
brothers.
gone out.
I celebrate the WeChat. There's the aims of what it is. It's about celebrating the freedom of WeChat.
I think that's the thing when you do was it a cappella or
Yeah. When there was a guy with a keyboard and you think, it took longer to set the keyboard up than the 200 guys. And all the guy did on the keyboard was...
one note. Give us a D or whatever it is.
Back here in the church here, some venerable bead, I think it's called. I went and exactly the same. There were black people from Nigeria doing this heavily Christian stuff. And they're all staring at me saying, what is he, this little Indian, not black enough guy doing that? And they gave us food for the destitute in this part of the world.
Oh, bless.
So I, like you, I just like going like a terrorist in a way. Different from everyone. Just go in and see what happens. I've done music in Heaton Mosque.
Yeah.
There's behind you Zafar Bhatti. He's invited 3 white people to go and play table tennis in the Heaton Mosque. They've never been in a mosque. I like you. I like that penetration, you know. And I'm not,
I agree.
I'm not talking about sex here. Like,
No, I understand. But you're quite right. And what you should do, surprise, I think.
yes,
Is the
shock the
wonderful
buggers.
thing. It was like those guys from the EDL
Yeah.
who went chucking bricks at a mosque.
Oh.
Then they ended up bringing tea out for them.
Yes.
And it's hard to chuck bricks at people who are giving
Yeah.
you tea.
Yes.
And then they ended up having a chat and a game of football together.
Yeah,
and you think,
exactly.
well, that's what it should be about.
You know, when it's football or food or something we can't mention on LXX, we can't mention it, or music, where does religion go? It disappears. Then there's a difference because you still have only 7 or 8 notes on the keyboard all over the world, you know.
Well, the thing that I've noticed, though, is that a lot of people from... Because you go to Dubai and they'll lash you and they'll whip you if you mention gambling and stuff. And yet, you come over here to... And I don't go to casinos and stuff.
Uh-huh.
But I visited one to do a guest appearance and it was full of people from that part of the world.
Yeah,
They
yeah,
think,
yeah,
whoa, hang on. There's an ounce of hypocrisy
Yeah.
creeping in there. Isn't
But how much energy it takes to keep up a hypocrisy? Do you know schizophrenia, that illness? Say you're my father and your brother and all. I play a game, I'm ill.
How old do I look? Yeah.
You look like my daddy. How old are you? I'm 68. You're 50 something, aren't you?
9.
59.
Yeah.
Okay, still a long way to go, pet. You're just a spring chicken.
9 hours for another 40
Yeah.
years.
So as a
Give me another 10, I'll be happy.
okay. So as a schizophrenic, I'm playing the game. I'm ill.
Yeah.
You know I'm playing a game. I know you know I'm playing a game. You know I know you know, and this goes on. It's like two mirrors. It's a joke. Schizophrenia doesn't exist, and this.
You gotta have it. It's gotta have that. But the very, very best thing about it is when you reach out to anybody, if they're a proper human being, they always respond in kind. And this guy said, "Have you ever been to the Zulu Club?" Well, I said, "I've never been to New Orleans. So I've never been to the Zulu Club. What is it?" Sounded fairly intimidating if you think.
Yeah. Isaac Zumba.
So that's what I was thinking.
Sacrificial people.
And the guy says, "No, you've got to come with me to the Zulu Club." So, because of the change in times, Night Owls was on something like 6 o'clock till 10. Just
For the American time to
the American
Geordie time. Aye.
So absolutely. So this guy then picked me up, and he was dressed immaculately with a big dicky bow tie and a frilly shirt. Unlike any Zulu I'd ever seen on a television.
You've seen the film, had you?
I just hear people dying a lot in the Zulu movies. But so we go into this club. I'm the only white face there.
Yes.
Nobody knows me from radio in Britain.
Yeah. You're a nobody there. You're just another white guy.
Nothing, absolutely. Huh. And so you go in. Everybody wants to meet you. Everybody does. They fed me. They sang for me. And then they said, "Where are you doing your radio show from?" And we mentioned that it was a little small studio on the outskirts of the city. And they said, "Can we bring our choir to sing?" Now I'm thinking, this studio is probably half the size of the one we're in now. And this is massive. It's a relatively small studio. So I said, yeah, of course you can bring your choir in. 140 people arrived at 2 o'clock in the afternoon. They rehearsed outside, because they couldn't get inside, for 2 hours. They're all dressed
proper.
We're talking about 90 degrees, and they're all in their full suits, and they're patting their head like Louis Armstrong used to in the old movies. And then they opened the doors, and we stuck a couple of microphone stands outside, and absolute glory happened. I'm not a Christian, but it was.
Thank God for that.
Gospel.
I went to a Catholic school, but never mind.
But it was gospel that they were singing.
No, but there's beauty in that singing, isn't there?
Absolute gorgeous.
Isn't it?
Yeah. Gorgeous.
So the ability...
human creation of something,
So that if they wanted to use little bits of it, they could. There were 13 of us around a circular table in a castle called Charleville Castle, which is in County Tullamore, it's the absolute epicenter of Ireland.
Okay.
If you had to put a pin in it, it's right there. And I'm chatting, I'm saying, well, this happened here, and the English king did that there, and da-di-da-di-da-di-da. And then eventually, all of a sudden, out of the corner of my eye, I saw something happening outside. Now we're 3 floors up. Something happening outside a window 3 floors up will attract your attention.
Yeah.
You think,
it's not the window cleaner, like.
It's a giraffe, at least, to get it's going to be
a
something.
lot of giraffes in Ireland.
Yes.
So this thing came through the window and through the center of the table. Now, remember, there's 13 of us. And some of them were American, some of them were Irish, some of them were English. But we're right around this table. And I said, don't anybody say what you can see right now.
Yes.
When it's gone, write it down.
Yes. Okay. So we're not colluding.
It passed through. It passed through the door.
Oh my God!
Went through a door. Didn't open.
Did
it
it
went
have a human?
It looked. It was grey. It was an amalgam of colour. You could see things like a little white collar. You could see that it was man-shaped and moving.
Could you see through the creature?
You could kind of.
So it was translucent.
But solid enough for you to make out collars to make out edges of a jacket. So I don't know how you have ghost cloth. You see that. I can understand spirit, ghost cloths, but ghost shoes. How does that work? I don't know. But
okay, but you
all of a sudden I saw it, and everybody wrote down
exactly the same thing.
Exactly the same thing. So you think, well, what was it? Well, you put it in that place where, well, I don't really want to go onto the radio and admit that I've seen this, because for 10 years I've been slanging. I've been slanging on these people.
It's like me joining the EDL or something like that.
It wouldn't happen, would it? So you jump on the other team all of a sudden.
Yes.
No. So then eventually, because I'd seen that, my mind was open to see other things.
Yes,
so I started to notice little things here and there. Because once you've tasted a cherry, you will
can't
always
drink
remember
milk.
what a cherry tastes like. So
yes.
you're constantly looking for...
so much hypocrisy in medicine. 70% of all patients get better on any drug. It's just a joke, I mean, I believe in the placebo effect.
Absolutely.
And if religion or your culture keeps you stable, it's okay, but reach out, is what we are both saying.
No, we had my dad, one of the proudest things he ever did, there was a doctor, and I think his family have something to do with the clinic on the West Road, the Kumars.
Oh, yeah, Dr. Kumar.
Dr. Kumar. Dr. Kumar was my doctor, the father, and he was just in I think, Clara Street, or one of the little streets down in Benwell. And you walked in, you saw him, you didn't need any medicine after you'd seen him because you knew you were going to be all right because Dr. Kumar had seen
you. So the magic of that doctor...
It's just a reassurance that somebody's seen you. And he hasn't called an ambulance.
He knew me since I was born.
Yeah.
He wouldn't tell me a lie. And he says, I'm going to be fine. I'm going to be fine.
Yes,
and
because you believe, you become what you believe. Whether it comes through religion or your self-indoctrination, because I'm totally into NLP and so on. Which brings me to this interesting topic. How did you become a spiritualist? Spiritual, I understand, but spiritualist, you actually believe in ghosts.
I do.
And
only because I've seen them. You see?
Tell us about that. That's a very odd side of you. You're a nice, regular Geordie guy. How the hell do you see ghosts, man?
Right. Never believed in them at all. Used to go on air slagging people off who had and saying,
don't be stupid.
You've obviously just watched a ghost film the night
and you've drunk too much or taken drugs.
I'm all of that. And then I'm a pagan historian. I'm very, very interested in history, world history, but pagan history, the one that is Christian history tends to be what you're taught in this country.
Yeah, it's pre-book.
It's very biased on one side because to pagans, Christians are like Nazis.
Yes. They
For obvious reasons.
They forced their religion.
They wiped them out, pretty hard to try to. And so I was asked, I'd done some work on the film Braveheart, telling them what kind of costumes people wore. And if you see what they're wearing on the hill before they lift the kilt, that's all my...
So you started this wearing nothing underneath. They used to do that.
So anyway, they took me across to Ireland, to the TV people, to do another TV show. And they said that they wanted to find out what the pagan history of that land was.
They've got 10 dirty X movies. They're getting
10 dirty... Is that what they came under? Can I have 10?
We met through Rizaria, who got the BBC to cover the world event.
That's right.
I land from Palestine at 8:30, tired and dog-tired and very angry with the Israelis and everything. And she texts me saying, when are you coming? I thought it was some radio station. When I went there was the BBC dish. And I really got quite excited. And I said, this Texan with a 10-gallon hat, and the rest is history, isn't it?
It is.
And you kept your word and you called me to the studio.
Always, absolutely.
Okay. I feel like calling you Sir Alan.
No.
Yes.
You've got some sort of honour, haven't you? Is it
MB, I think.
I'm the first freeman of Benwell.
The freeman.
Does that mean you can put your sheep on? So
I've got a sneaky suspicion if I left sheep in Benwell, they wouldn't be there for very long.
So, Alan, what makes you Alan? What makes you such a strong personality that we all admire and some hate? Thank God for that.
Yeah, well, absolutely. I just speak as I feel, really. I mean, I was raised in the West End, round the corner, where we've always been.
That was home territory.
This mixture of cultures has always been here.
Yes.
And I think it makes you strong because you learn. And the one thing that I've told people all my life is travel as far as you can. Go and see other cultures.
Yes.
See how they work.
Yes.
And a lot of the preconceptions that you have disappear.
Yes.
I'll give you one example.
Go on,
we were doing a ghosty show for the American television network, and we were in New Orleans. Always wanted to go to New Orleans.
But you're a radio guy. What are you doing in New Orleans?
Well, I was doing radio as well, but we were doing TV stuff for the
I know.
And so anyway, they gave me this guy as a driver for tall black guy, deep south, lovely, lovely fella. And I got chatting to him, and you discover that some people don't bond. They just sit in the back seat and get driven.
They don't reach out.
So I sat in the front and I'm saying, I've never been here before. Where should I go? What should I do? What's the best kind of food?
Aye.
And they educate you about it. Oh, you've got to try a sloppy Joe. You've